Hi everyone, it's Miss Amy from Camden Public Library, and today I got my copy of School Library Journal, and it's talking about, its key story is about 100 years of the Newbery Award winner, and ironically, I just finished a Newbery Award winner this morning. I just finished last year's Newbery Award winner. So I'm going to talk about some of the award winners. And I was curious how many I had read, and I was pleased that I had read more than I thought I had. But I'm thinking that I might challenge myself this year in 2022, celebrating 100 years, to see if I can figure out what all the books are and read them all. So this one is When You Trap a Tiger, and it is a story about story and about love and loss and sisters. It is told from the point of view of a young Korean girl, and she is discovering just who she is. And it is, I was in tears this morning. Let's just say that it took a little getting into, so stick with it. But once you get to know Lily and her sister Sam and her mom and Harmony, her grandmother, and figure out how the stories connect them, you will just love this. Everyone should read this beautiful story that shares Korean history and Korean folklore and traditions and family, and a place for family and heart and loss. Yeah, so definitely a winner in my book. I loved it in the end. So check that one out. This one, Dead End in Norvelt, is about Jack Gantos, loosely. It's his story. It's the story of a boy named Jack Gantos and his adventures one summer when he is grounded, like for the whole summer because of something that he does. He's always getting into trouble, and he gets loaned out by his mom to help a really grouchy, grumpy neighbor. And he ends up discovering all sorts of things as he is typing out obituaries, because that's what this old man does, is writes the obituaries for people in the town. So he's learning about his own town through the deaths of all of these older members of his town. And yeah, it's really funny, and you'll laugh out loud. And yeah, Jack Gantos. This was my favorite Jack Gantos book, and he's written a lot, so check him out. This one, I've talked about this before when I did First Lines. This is Neil Gaiman's book. So I was serving on the Maine Student Book Award Committee the year that this book was chosen as the Newbery, and go figure that the 12 of us who were serving on the committee, not a single one of us had read this book, and we didn't even know about it until it came out. And then we were all like, oh my gosh, this is the best book. This is so incredible. It is a story. It starts with a murder, horrific murder. It's YA. It is a story told about a little boy and the ghosts in the cemetery who raise him. And it all ties back to the murder at the beginning of the story. Really captivating story. Loved this one. Have recommended that many times. This one, this is the girl Who Drank the Moon, a very magical story. This was the 2016 Newbery Medal winner. It is about Luna, and Luna was stolen from her mom by her village elders to protect everyone from the witch in the woods. And Zan is the witch in the woods, and she collects the children, she feeds them and saves them. But one little girl, Luna, drinks the moon and is in magic. And she, there's a monster, a dragon, her grandmother, or Nan, Zan, is her grandmother, the little girl thinks, and it all ties back to a story and what people believe and community and how people can isolate others because they don't get to know them. A beautiful story woven in magic and reality. So this one, A Year Down Yonder, it has been so long since I've read this book. This was the sequel to A Long Way from Chicago, which I loved. Read to my kids, my boys, when they were younger. This is when the main character's name is Mary Alice, returns to her grandmother's to spend the summer with her, and now she is, I think, 15. She's 15 when this book happens, and her grandmother, it causes trouble, speaks her own mind, and and crazy adventures. And it's a quick read. It's only a couple hundred pages, or just under 200. Yeah, it's under 200 pages. So a really great read and so funny. But don't start with this one. Start with A Long Way from Chicago, which was the original book where we meet the grandmother. So 2 really fabulous books by Richard Peck. This one, this was another favorite. I used to read this aloud with my students in my 3rd grade class when I taught 3rd grade over 30 years ago. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. It is called Joyful Noise, and it is Poems for 2 Voices by Paul Fleischman. And it is such a unique, beautiful voice, and this is fun for to read aloud, to partner read. It really works better if you partner read this. So even better when it is done with kids who can actually read, because then you can enjoy the back and forth reading. Light is the ink we use. Night is our parchment. We're fireflies. Just an example. Gorgeous, gorgeous book. So there are 100 books, and at 8 a.m. on January 24th of this year, the 100th book will be named the Newbery Award winner. So incredible. That's my challenge. I challenge you to read every single one of the Newbery Award winners. And maybe even you go so far as to read some of the honor books, because sometimes there's a lot of controversy about the Newbery. You know, what librarians and teachers think. What was the committee thinking? How did they choose this book? Does it carry over time? Do people still read the books way back? The very first Newbery Award winner was The Story of Mankind by Hendrik Wilhelm van Loon, and I have never read it, and I'm going to go back. The next year, 1923, was The Voyages of Dr. Dolittle by Hugh Lofting, and I have read that and loved it. So, yeah. And we have a Maine book, Hitty, 1930s. Newbery Award winner was Hitty, her first 100 years by Rachel Field, and that was a book about a doll and the doll's life as she goes 100 years and lives with different generations and different children and people. So, yeah, read the Newbery Awards. I'm so excited. It's like a big, big deal when the Newbery and all of the other awards are announced by the American Library Association. So, yeah, only a couple weeks left, and we'll see who wins this year. Happy reading, Miss Amy.